Hey guys, welcome back, and today I am flying out the XF5F. I think this is actually the third video I'm doing on this one, so that's actually quite a lot, but I like to fly this thing. It's definitely not easy to fly. It can be very frustrating, but it's a good challenge. So kind of like the Yak 15 and the X17s, I like to torture myself every now and again, so then I take out this thing. So today we're in a match on Sicily against the Germans. They have a lot of BF-109s and Ju-87s and stuff. So this 109 wants to try to go head on. He fires really early, but I can dodge him easily and try to get on his tail. And in this match I didn't really bother to climb because I know how this plane performs. It climbs decently, but not really that much better than other planes. But if you're above someone, you can't do anything because this plane locks up at higher speeds. Like, it has no elevator authority. So I'd rather be down here dogfighting because that's what it does better. So I turned onto this Ju-87 because I need to get rid of him first before I can start fighting those BF-109s. So pump some shots into him, do a bit of damage, and now we gotta try to finish him off. And there we go. Took off his wing. And that's another thing with this plane. It has two 50 cals and two 7.7s, and sometimes you just have to pump a whole lot of shots into people before they'll die. Now there's quite a lot of BF-109s up here, so I'm gonna fly away towards my base a bit because I don't want to be turn fighting with this many guys around. That's just asking for trouble. Instead I want to single one of them out and then one-on-one turn fight him, because this thing can turn fight very well. If you're at like below 400 kilometers per hour, this thing starts to turn really well. But above that, it turns terribly. So you've always got to keep a balance. So I pulled this BF-109, it's actually an F4, away from the pack, and now I'm going to turn fight him. He's not making it very difficult. He's loaded with the gun pods, I believe, so that makes him even less maneuverable. So I can get on his tail and try to kill him. Emphasis on try because I'm missing a few shots and I'm out of 50 cal ammo now, so I have to try to finish him off with 7.7s. He takes out one of my teammates in the meantime, so that's a pity. But there we go, finished him off with the 7.7s. So I'm down to 7.7s, so I figure, yeah, now is probably a good time to return to base, so that's what I do. I've been using manual engine controls. You can see me adjusting the radiator here. So when I'm climbing, I open the radiators to 100%, and then just full on web climb, and it will overheat eventually, but then you just go to 100% for a few seconds, cool down, and then you can keep climbing. Having radiators fully open while you're climbing isn't that much of a bad thing, because when you're climbing you're at lower speeds, and so the drag from the radiators has less effect. When I'm flying around at 100% like this, you can close the radiators to about 16 or 13%, I think, and it won't overheat. So I'm just gonna fly casually back to base. We'll skip a bit here because this isn't really interesting. This is the landing. I'll just show it. For landing I switch back to automatic engine controls. When the speed drops below 500, you can safely deploy combat flaps, and the flaps on this thing are pretty strong. Like, you can deploy takeoff flaps, I think, at like 390 kilometers per hour, maybe even more. I haven't really tested it that much. Landing flaps also, I don't think I've ever really ripped the flaps from speed, so they're pretty sturdy, and you can use that during dogfights to help slow down. So I use takeoff flaps quite a lot because I use this thing as a low speed, like a stall speed turn fighter. That's, in my experience, is what it's best at, except against like Japanese or Chaikas. But you can also see that landing speed is very slow. You can go all the way down, and then very short landing distances. And this thing can also land on carriers. It has a tail hook, so if you're on Norway or another map of carriers, you can practice your carrier landings. You just deploy landing flaps, deploy your gear, slow down to about 150 or 140, and then just land. It's really easy. So enough of that. We'll wait until I rearm and get back into combat. So I took off, and not too much later, I spotted this guy who had shot down a teammate earlier, and so I decided to put into a nice steep climb to try to get on his level, because I don't really want to. It's better to be at the same altitude as if they dive on you, then there's a chance they can shoot you. It just makes things more difficult. So go into a nice steep climb, and this thing can do steep climbs if you want. I don't really know what the optimal climb speed is, but I think it's pretty low because it's an interesting little plane. Very lightweight, or well, not very lightweight, but for having two engines, it's very lightweight. Put it that way. So now I'm just 100% radiators climbing, and this guy doesn't seem to be really interested in fighting, but I have another XF5F teammate, which is surprising because usually you don't see a lot of these planes. But he's here, and he's helping to push him down, so he's forcing him to enter into combat. And he seems to be, I don't really know what he's doing, pitching up at my teammate or something, I'm not sure. Either way, it's useful for me because it allows me to close the distance and try to put some shots in. Now our teammate is missing his passes. He's probably going way too fast, which is easy to do. With the XF5F, if you're diving, you go too fast and the controls lock up, and then you just can't get shots on target. But he's in a pretty good position for me now, so I abuse my takeoff flaps, get that turn speed. Here you can see I'm just on the edge of stalling, kind of. Well, not really, but at slow speed this plane is very good. And this BF-109 just can't get away. Pumping shots into him, set him on fire. So he's probably going to go down. And there we go, he burns up. So another kill for the good guys, and now I can close my radiators a bit and just cruise over to this next target. Maybe I'll skip ahead. No, it's okay. This guy is he's diving on our Spitfire down here. So I have to be careful because I'm going to be picking up speed, and I should not come in at too steep of an angle, because if you do that you'll just crash into the ground, because the elevator on this thing locks up bad. I've said that about 3 times now, but that's because I mean it. It is bad. So I'm keeping that in mind, and I'm almost 100% sure I won't be able to kill him on this first pass, because I don't have the firepower. And because I just can't, I don't have the controls at this speed. So here you can see this is me pulling full elevator right now. And you can see how long it takes for the nose to pull up. Once the speed drops, it'll start turning really fast. Like right about there, it suddenly starts turning fast. But if you're at 600 kilometers per hour, good luck. And as you can see, my teammate in the XF5F just plowed into the ground, so I guess he didn't know about the control stiffening. I was aware of it, but I guess he wasn't. So, getting on this guy 6, slowing down so I don't overshoot, putting some shots in, gave him a fuel leak here I think, and there, set him on fire and killed him. So that's all very good. I was thinking about going back to base to rearm, but I figured it wasn't necessary. I still have 150 cal rounds left, which is probably enough to kill one guy, and there's not that many enemies left. So instead I am going to climb and try to find the enemy, and this time we will skip a bit. As you can see, there's only 2 of them left, so we should be able to win this one. So a short while later, as we're climbing towards the lake, we spot him. So I'm not going to go straight at him yet. I'm hoping that my teammates can get up into the air, but then I figure if it's only one, I can probably take him on. Don't have to play it too cautiously. I mean, I don't fly this plane really to well, I like to win, but I also just derp around in it a bit. I turn fight pretty much everything, and I just do stupid stuff most of the time. So I'm gonna turn into him and try to sucker him into a dogfight, turn fight. So let's see if he falls for it. But he seems to be climbing, so he's gonna maintain his discipline, I guess, or something. But I mean, there's no point in me trying to dive away, because if I try to dive away, he's faster, and he doesn't lock up as high speeds like I do. It'll just put me in a bad position. So instead I climb up to him, see if I can get some shots into him as I'm stalling, scare him into doing something stupid maybe. But he doesn't really seem to be having any of it. I thought he was going to turn fight here, but instead he just starts to run away towards his base. So I'm kind of thinking, you know, what the hell? Are you just going to run the entire game or what? I want you to turn fight me, damn it. Be stupid. Turn fight me. I hate it when an enemy pilot is slightly smart. It makes me so mad. So instead I turn back to base. I figure he's probably looking and he's going to turn around, but if he's going to run away, then I guess I'll run away as well. So I'll let him chase me. I'll drop altitude a bit, hoping he follows, and then I can eventually engage him with my teammates or something. Hopefully I can equalize our energy states, and then I'll be able to sucker him into a dogfight. But he's really very, very, very cagey. As you can see, as soon as I start to turn around, he starts to pull up and turn away. He's just having none of it, so sucks for me. But I mean, the thing is, he's not even trying to attack me. He could pull up here, do something else, but no, he's just intent on running. So I don't really understand. At first I thought he was waiting for his teammate to get there, but that's why I didn't follow him towards his base. But it doesn't really seem to be the case, because now he's running this way, which is most likely not where his teammate is gonna be. So instead I again turn back towards the base and hope that maybe my Spitfire teammates can catch up to this guy eventually. But I'm really getting suspicious, because I'm wondering where the second guy is. So I'm expecting him to come at high altitude, but no, there he is. He's below me. So at this point I'm pretty much thinking, okay, screw this guy, he's going to keep running. I'll instead fight this guy, because this is the guy who dove down at our Wellington right at the start of the game, so I know he's he's not as tactically sound. He's one that goes for the first target he sees and goes all in. So I'm getting him to stall out below me here, just waiting for my chance to drop, and here we go. Flip it over, take off flaps, and try to pump some shots into him. Diving down, and open fire, hits. And this is the annoying thing about this plane sometimes. If it had a cannon or something, I could kill things a lot quicker, but I'm just gonna have to do with what I got. I mean, sometimes these guns work amazingly well, and they can chop a wing off in a short burst or set a fire real quick, but sometimes it just does nothing. It helps if you aim for the wings. If you aim for the fuselage, you're generally not gonna do much, but there's no real problem. He's in a turn fight now. I can beat him at that game. Only problem is I don't have the firepower to really kill him, but because I'm down to only 7.7s now. He's diving away, but I'm gonna follow because I can, and I really want to kill this guy. Keeping an eye out for that other guy, make sure he doesn't drop down on me, but he doesn't seem to be. My Spitfire teammate is spraying away happily. I'm just gonna wait until I'm a little bit closer. He's having to dodge the Spitfire, which is bleeding his energy, allowing me to catch up. Normally this plane isn't really faster in a dive or anything, but he's being forced to jink, and I've already damaged him, and there we go. Chopped off a wing with the 7.7s, so that is nice. And now I'm out of ammo, or well, for the 50 cals, and those are the ones that really matter, so I'm gonna go back to base. If that guy wants to stay high and shoot our bowfighter spotters, that's fine by me. I can always load up ground target ammo for the 50 cals and kill light pillboxes if need be. So, flying back to base. Let's skip ahead. So I had loaded up the ground targets ammo for the 50 cals, but he bailed out. He never came down or anything. He just went back to his base, I guess, and quit out. So I guess that's fine by me. I get the victory. Got 5 kills, was it? So it's a good result for this plane. Usually you don't get that many kills, but sometimes it all works out. So that is very, very nice. Gets me almost 100,000 lions. good amount of RP, although I'm researching a Saber, so this isn't the best plane to be doing that in. But and you can see the guy who wouldn't engage me, he killed one plane and the rest was all spotters. He still came top of his team for killing spotters, but he wasn't much use to their team, I guess. That's okay. So that was that match. A victory for me. Now my favorite opponents when flying the XF5F has to be the Russians, because they, at this battle rating, they seem to think that they can turn fight pretty much everything that isn't Japanese. And they cannot turn fight this thing. So it is really funny when Yak 3s and Yak 1s and LA 5s are trying to turn fight you, and then they lose, and then they're like, what? UFO, UFO! Well, they usually actually don't complain that much, but it's great. I love it. So I'm just going to show a few clips from this match. Wasn't that interesting, but I'll just show a few clips just to prove that yes, you can turn fight Russians. So I actually climbed in this match. Sometimes I just go in at low altitude and just turn fight the first thing I see, but that can put you in a dangerous position, because you can turn fight 1v1 real easily, but as soon as there's multiple enemies, then usually it's game over for you. Sometimes you can make it work, but it's difficult. So I was going to dive into this swarm down here, try to protect our bombers, but then I spotted this LA5, and I honestly don't know what he's doing. His engine is turned off, he's AFK climbing or something, so put in a quick burst, set him on fire, put in some more shots just in case, but it looks like he's gonna burn. So that's the easiest kill I've probably ever had in this plane, and there we go. But there was also a Yak 3 around, so gonna have to do something about him. But I'm not that scared. I mean, Yak 3 is a great plane, but most people just try to turn fight with it, and XF5F is better, at least at low speeds. So, and I have a P47 around to help me, so I'm feeling pretty confident. Should be doable. Yak 3 dives, and then he starts to pull up at the P47, so that allows me to intercept. P47 sprays at him, I think, or no, he misses this pass, I believe. But it puts me onto the 6 of this Yak 3. So what's he gonna do? He does a kind of a split S, put some shots at him and miss. And now I gotta be careful not to go too fast, but the P47's also attacking him, so he's got his hands full. And now I'm in nice close range, I can start putting in some shots. There we go, got a few hits. Gave him a fuel leak, I believe. And he starts to dive and turn a bit, and this is where it gets dangerous, because this is what my plane does not do good. High speed turning like this, no. So as soon as my speed starts to approach 500 kilometers per hour, I'm pulling out, because I know that my controls will lock up, and then I'm in danger of overshooting and just getting into terrible situations. So I'll leave him to the P47, who has much better high speed controls. Instead, I saw a Yak 9 down here, so maybe I can go fight him instead. But as you can see, I could easily turn with a Yak 3, so consider that proof. So now there's this Yak 9. As you can see, again, the controls are locking up, but go to 0% throttle for a little while to help slow down, engage combat flaps, and then you can drop a lot of speed and start turn fighting. As you can see, this Yak 9T is trying to turn fight, but he's never going to win. He stalls himself out. Mr. P47 comes in and absolutely blows him apart. I would have been able to handle it just fine by myself, but oh well. Set him up for a teammate. Sadly, you don't get rewarded for that in War Thunder, but it was a pretty nice setup, I guess. Although I wasn't doing it intentionally. I had every intention of turn fighting him myself, but can't always get what you want, now can ya? Now there's an LA5 down here, so I was going for either him or the P63. Wasn't sure which one yet. We'll see which one makes himself a better target, but the LA5 seems to be coming straight at me, and the P63 just got shot down, so we'll go for the LA5 instead. He's coming straight at me. I don't want to go head on because my guns are not good enough for that, and because of control stiffening I can't dodge that well, so making sure to dodge in advance. Here you can see again, this is full elevator. I'm having real difficulty turning, but as soon as you slow down, floop, you can turn this thing around. And I just got to make sure he doesn't run away, so closing the radiators a bit and engaging the web. Try to catch up. And I am catching pretty easily, so it's time to plant some fire into him. And there we go, set him on fire. But of course there's a lot of friendlies around, so I want to try to finish this guy off, but here comes Mr. P-47 spraying and he hits my engine, and that's a downside to this plane. The engines on it are pretty damn weak, so if you take a hit, they will die pretty quickly. So I'm not happy with that P-47. Yeah, he is A, trying to steal the kill, and then he shoots through me to get it, so that's just not cool. But I'm gonna go back to base now to repair, because this thing's engines, once they get damaged, they will die in pretty short time. But then I spot that the IL-2 is over here, so I'm gonna go for him. Let's see who's all coming for him as well. Ah, there's my P-47 friend. So now I'm really desperate to kill this IL-2, because I don't want to give the P-47 the joy of doing that, so I want to make that P-47 suffer. So engage web, radiators at 0%. I'm definitely going to overheat the engines now, but this is the last enemy, so I figure I may as well run my engines to the max and see how it ends up. We lose a spotting of him, but we know he's there now, so pushing my little plane for all she's worth. This plane isn't super fast at all, but it's fast enough, I guess. But the P-47 is definitely faster, so if he goes full power, he should be able to overtake me. And he's closing the gap, but I've got my radiators closed. I'm doing everything to go as fast as I can. Now the IL-2 pops back up into view, and I'm definitely not going to go head on with him, because that will just get me killed. But instead I'll loop in behind him and try to get him. Hopefully his gunner doesn't kill me, because I've died enough times to IL-2s. Because, yeah, reasons. So I'm going to dodge his head on and loop up and try to get behind him. And there we go, he starts shooting, but I can easily dodge that. Mr. P-47 is going for it, but he gets himself killed, so that made me very happy. And now I can try to kill this IL-2. Preferably without dying myself, but I really don't care right now. So critical hit, I try to dodge away, but one little hit, then I'm set on fire. And that's the thing with this plane, it's very fragile. So now I'm desperate to kill this IL-2. Finish him off. And there we go. Took out his elevator apparently. I think I may have killed his pilot, but I seem to be going down as well. There we go, second fire. Yeah, not gonna live through that. But it was worth it. I got the kill, Mr. P-47 didn't. So I'm very, very, very happy. And I think that's all I'll show for the XF5F. I have another clip with some Japanese planes, but it's not really that interesting. So we'll look at the result screen. I guess, maybe, yes. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. That was the XF5F, one of the more rare planes. You don't see it that often. It can be fun to fly, but it can also be very frustrating because of that control lockup. But I like to try it every now and again. It's just such a funny little plane. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.